Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's session on strengthening AML controls in Singapore, lessons from the billion-dollar money laundering case. I'm Yingyi Liu, a partner at CMS Holborn Asia, and I lead the financial services regulatory practice at CMS in Singapore. I advise financial institutions from banks, insurers, asset managers to fintechs on regulatory matters such as licensing, compliance, and investigations. In today's session, we will discuss the $3 billion money laundering case, the largest in Singapore and one of the largest globally, the penalties imposed on financial institutions, and while doing so, we'll take the opportunity to recap the AML obligations of financial institutions. We will then discuss also regulatory changes to tighten Singapore's AML regulatory regime, and then we'll conclude with some practical steps that financial institutions can take to strengthen their AML controls. So let's start with an overview of the case. In August 2023, the Singapore Police launched an island-wide raid involving over 400 officers simultaneously hitting multiple locations, ultimately arresting 10 foreign nationals. Now, these 10 individuals are linked to a transnational syndicate known as the Fujian Gang that ran illegal gambling centers and scams. The details of the case unfolded in the news over the next few weeks and months. We heard details of how one of the men arrested jumped off a roof of his good class bungalow or GCB in an effort to evade arrest. We heard details of the luxury items that were seized. I set out here some statistics, 94 properties, 50 luxury vehicles, 110 million in bank accounts, 23 million in cash, and hundreds of luxury items. Now, some of these luxury items seized were, supercars, jewelry, watches, art, and, interesting facts, a dozen of bear brick figures, 58 gold bars, accounts with cryptocurrencies, and country club memberships as well. So turning to, some of the key facts of the case, in fact, the 10 individuals arrested, they had pleaded guilty and they were sentenced very swiftly. So within 13 to 17 months, they were in fact either jailed, deported, or barred from re-entry. All of these individuals were in fact nationals of, China, Cambodia, Cyprus, Turkey, and Vanuatu, so foreign nationals. Over $1 billion in assets were seized from the 10 of them. And out of this, 944 million Sing dollars in assets were ultimately forfeited to the state. Now, we've said $3 billion, so, and I've just mentioned $1 billion. So the other $2 billion or so of seized assets, in fact, came from 17 other suspects who were on the run and outside of Singapore's jurisdiction. As of December last year, the assets amounting to 2.79 billion of Singapore dollars were reported as having been surrendered to the state.